In this video, I'm going to reveal to you the 4 reasons why a girl will not respond to the first text that you sent her. Now, the first misconception as to why a girl doesn't respond to your first text is that somehow you messed up the text. That's not true, actually. When you meet a girl, let's say in real life, or even on online dating, and you send the first text, you think, oh, that text was boring. I shouldn't have said, hey, or I shouldn't have given her a compliment, or whatever. Unless you send some ridiculous text with like 10 heart emojis or it's some long love poem, it probably wasn't the text that messed up. It's the thing that preceded the text, because it's the first text. The only moment where texting is the reason why she stops responding is if you're already in a conversation and it's going well, then it suddenly stops. Then it was your texting that was the problem. But if it's the first text, it's not the text's fault. It's you meeting her for the first time, or in the case of online dating, it's your pictures. Now you might think, she swiped right on me. I'm not gonna spend too much time explaining it, but I promise you, it's the thing that preceded the text that's the problem. So the best way to understand this is in a non-online dating context where you meet a girl in real life, right? You were out touching grass in reality. You weren't just swiping right, okay? You met a girl in a social outing, you met her out at night, you met her during the day, you met her from work, wherever, okay? If you meet her in that situation and you don't get a text back to your first text, it was something about the conversation that you had with her that you weren't charismatic enough, you weren't smooth enough, you weren't interesting enough, you weren't sexy enough. Or you were kind of, but then she changed her mind. Or she did like you and she would have been down to continue talking to you, but at some point between sending that text, she was considering a guy other than you. It could have been a guy she met that day, and you'd be surprised. Now you may think, no, there's no way another guy just met her within a few hours of me approaching her or talking to her. Well, what's interesting is that when girls are ready to mingle and they're giving out those signals that they're ready to mingle, and you may not think that girls are giving out these signals, and sometimes she doesn't even know because it's very subconscious, but a lot of times they're more aware of what they're doing than you think they are. So maybe they got over an ex-boyfriend, or they're ovulating, they're in heat, whatever, they're ready to mingle. Maybe they're just horny, right? Well, they're going to be going out and they're strutting a little bit more strutfully. They're wearing a certain outfit that they meant to wear, or they kind of did their makeup a little bit more today, or they started acting a little bit more bubbly and sexy. Well, you're not the only guy that is picking up on these signals, my friend. Any other guy with a working hormonal lust system is engaging its algorithm of go and get that girl when they see the same signs that you are, right? Because women are very beautiful and they're very sexy, and you're not the only one who thinks they're sexy, and you're not the only one that picks it up on their signals of interest. So you're probably not the only guy that she was putting out those signals for. So another guy might have approached her the same day that you did, and maybe he was just a little bit better. And that sucks to hear, but it's the truth. And the last reason is that maybe she liked you, and you maybe even outcompeted a lot of the other guys who were on her plate at the time, or there weren't any other guys that were competing for her attention aside from you. And something external to dating considerations interfered. Basically, something else happened in her life and it's more important than you. And it could be something positive, or it could be something negative. It could be a family tragedy, or it could be she just got accepted into the school that she wanted and now her mind is completely focused on that. Or she got a new job, or something amazing happened in her life, or something horrible, and that took most of her attention. And what happens when something significant takes her attention is that anything happening during that time just loses relevance. And you might be hoping that, okay, after this amazing thing that happens in her life finishes, she's gonna remember me, right? That cute guy that she talked to at this place or that place and had a nice conversation with her and got her phone number, and she seemed totally interested in getting a drink or grabbing a bite to eat with us in the future. No. You're probably just gonna lose relevance and she's gonna completely forget about you. Not always, right? Sometimes you can have girls reach out weeks or months later and they were like, hey, sorry I never responded, but X and Y happened, right? That can happen on occasion, but I wouldn't bet on it. So something external happened to her. So the 4 reasons why you can text a girl and it's not the text's fault, right? It's whatever happened preceding the text. She just wasn't interested, right? She was just being polite. And a lot of girls do that because, you know, they're just compassionate and they've seen how guys react to hardcore rejections. And they've just learned, you know what, for everyone involved, it's better if I just, you know, be polite, give him my phone number, and then just never respond. No harm, no foul. You may not agree with that. You may prefer her to just say, no, I think you're fucking ugly. Or, no, you fucking suck. You know, your voice was trembling too much. Or, you know, you're not quite the right whatever for me. But you think that you want that truth, but you probably don't. A lot of people think they want the truth, but when the brutal truth comes out, then they start crying, and it's like, all right, well, you weren't ready for the truth. All right, so for everyone involved, she chose to just be polite. You may not agree with that method, but that's what she chose to do. Secondly, there was some other guy that took precedence, right? It could be an ex-boyfriend. A lot of times it's an ex-boyfriend. You'd be surprised how many times when a girl is like kind of half out of a relationship, maybe technically is out of it, but you know, part of her is still kind of lingering, and she's putting out those signals, or she has that energy, and then you pick up on it and you approach her. But then she's not quite out of it, and then that other guy can feel like she's ready to step out of it, and then, you know, they start talking again, they hook up, and then whatever, right? And that could happen literally the day, like it was the day she was almost ready to give up in the relationship, and then, you know, you approached her and you're like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna be the rebound, I'm gonna get some nice free pussy, or I'm gonna be her next boyfriend, whatever. And then, you know, he feels that she's, you know, being drawn away towards some new dick.
I felt a great disturbance in the force.
And then, bam, you know, he's texting her and like, hey, I miss you, what are you doing, you wanna hang out, you wanna get back together? And she's like, okay, fine. And then, you know, you get forgotten. Or it's some other guy that is currently competing for her attention. It could be a guy she met that day, and or some guy she had been talking to recently. She gets your phone, or you get her phone number, you text her, and she's like, yeah, he was nice, but I don't know. And she just kind of feels this other guy more. Or she changes her mind, right? So she did like you, but then something about the interaction made her think, you know, I don't know. It was cool, but not quite X, or not quite Y. Or it's an external thing, you know, a significant life event, positive or negative, that takes her interest, and then you just get forgotten. So those are the 4 reasons why you can not get a response back when you first meet a girl. Now, how do you fix that? How do you avoid it, right? Well, some of those you can't really avoid, right? Like the life circumstances, that's not in your control. I guess you could take a really hardcore perspective and think, but if I was really charming enough, or she really liked me enough, then I would be involved in that life event. She'd be like, this great thing is happening to me, and I met this amazing guy. Yeah, if you want to take that perspective, there actually is some truth to it. If you were better, you wouldn't be so easily forgotten. And if you were better, you wouldn't be so easily outcompeted. And if you were better, you wouldn't be on her mind, then off her mind, and she wouldn't have changed her mind about you, and she wouldn't have just been polite. She would have genuinely given her phone number and been excited to see more of you. That's very true, and that can definitely happen. And if you want to take that perspective, you can. Not too extreme. I don't want you being too hard on yourself, but it is a possible reaction that you can have. Now, if you want to start having a better impression on girls, and you don't want to be the guy who she changes her mind about, you don't want to be the guy that she politely gives her phone number to, but doesn't really want to actually see. If you don't want to be the guy who gets outcompeted by life events or other guys, then you got to step up your game. That's just the truth, right? If you want to get the results of someone who's great, then you have to be great. And the only way to get great is to get the information of what makes someone great and then put it into practice. Now, I have 2 ways that can help you become that guy who has that first great impression and then actually gets a response when he sends out this first text. So the first way that you fix this is you have to start going out and approaching girls with a little bit of consistency. You don't have to approach 1,000 girls, right? But you do have to do a couple approaches. And you need to get some practice with having a really good first impression, where you walk up to a girl, you tell her that you're interested in her, you know, I think you're pretty, or I think you're cute, whatever. Have a nice, normal conversation. It doesn't have to be some long philosophical discussion, right? It can be a 5-minute discussion. But you leave a really good impression because you're asking questions, but not too many questions, and you're not asking questions like an interviewer. And you're not being too nervous, but you're not being too smooth and Rico Suave and obviously coming off like a player. You're being interested in her, but you're also allowing space for her to ask questions back, right? You're not just like, what's your name? Where are you from? What's your favorite color? What do you want to be when you grow up? Blah, blah, blah. And you're interacting with her with cool body language, a cool voice, good eye contact, and you have a good attitude about the conversation. And that really leaves an impression on her where this guy was, he was different, you know, like he was upfront and honest about the fact that he found me attractive, so he wasn't there trying to pretend to be my friend. And, you know, he was dressed, doesn't have to be a three-piece suit or wearing the latest fashion, but, you know, he had his shit together. You know, he was confident, but he wasn't cocky. He was interesting, but he wasn't narcissistic. He was interested in me, but he wasn't needy and overeager and just pelting me with questions and being annoying, right? You were just that perfect balance. And you got there because you practiced approaching enough, and also you approached girls with the right information in mind. And you'll actually get that wisdom to approach girls in the right way and practice in the right way to make yourself the guy who leaves that kind of impression and get that response when you finally text her. With my course, it's called Meet Girls Everywhere. And if you just scroll down to the description, you'll see something like Learn How to Meet Girls Everywhere, or something like that. And you just click on that link and you go to this nice, pretty sales letter, and it'll explain everything in detail about what this course is and what it's going to teach you, what's inside of it. And it's very long. It's like 13 modules or something ridiculous. At first it was only going to be 9, and then I just kept adding more and more and more. So it's packed with value. It's got more than a couple hours of content on there, and it's specifically designed to explain to you in very simple, easy to implement ways. You do have to practice it, so this isn't magic, right? You just say this and all of a sudden girls are falling over for you. That's bullshit. If anyone tells you that, they're lying to you. You're gonna have to practice it, but I'm gonna save you thousands of hours and thousands of approaches because I went through the trouble of learning how to do it in a really cool, simple way. There's no gimmicks, right? We're just walking up and we're having a normal conversation with a girl, but we're doing it in a way that's it feels organic and it feels very natural, even though it is something that you have practiced, but it's not rehearsed, it's practiced. And there's a very big difference. So it's very organic and it's very natural. And I'm going to teach you how to do it in a very simple, easy to understand way. So check out the description, Meet Girls Everywhere. And that's the first thing that is really going to change your game. Now, that will still take some practice. And there's no way to get around practice. You're going to have to put in work, right? I want a girlfriend. Well, you have to talk to girls. Well, you got me there, right? You're going to have to go to talk to girls. But the second way that you can work on your dating life and leave that great first impression where that cute girl at work or the cute girl that you see, you know, goes to the grocery store every Friday, or the girl you have a crush on, whatever. You want her to text you back and to be excited to go on a date with you. I highly suggest that you check out one-on-one coaching with me, private coaching where I work with you. And what I'll do is every guy has, let's call it his seductive signature, right? Or every guy has his perfect 10 out of 10 tailor-made suit. And that suit is your personality, right? It's made up of your sense of humor and your way of thinking and your values and your principles and your virtues and just the way that you talk and the way that you act. And you may think in your mind that, you know, if I was just a better this, I was like that guy, or was like that guy, or was like that actor or whatever. If I was sexy like him or cool like him or tall like him or good looking like him, then I wouldn't have all this dating trouble. That's not actually true, because every guy has his own particular seductive signature. And what I do with one-on-one coaching is, after coaching tons of guys and getting guys from all walks of life results, is I've learned how to see who you could be. I can see your potential. When I have my first call with a new client, I can already see what you would look like at your best, your own personal 10 out of 10 tailor-made suit, your particular measurements, your particular color, your particular style. And I can see that. And my job through coaching with you is to help extract that perfect version of you and teach you what he looks like, how he talks, how he walks, how he acts. And I show you that picture of what he does, what he says, how he acts, and I get you to try and become him. It's still going to take work, but it's even faster. So the course, Meet Girls Everywhere, is a really fast way to make yourself that kind of guy who has that great impression on girls and gets a text back. But if you work one-on-one with me, then you're going to fly even 10 times or 100 times faster, because you have me there working with you and giving you specific advice for your specific problems and give you a long-term plan that's going to have a radical change on who you are in the impressions that you have on women. And plus, it's universal. I'll teach you everything. Texting, approaching, relationships, how to get into a relationship, how to handle a relationship. I can do it all. And I highly suggest that you check that out. So if you scroll down and you see a line that says, book a call, one-on-one call with me, click that link, put your information into that form. It'll send an email to me. I'll get back in touch with you. We'll have a free 10-minute call where I'll go over what I think we need to work on, and then I'll talk to you about the prices and how coaching exactly works, and then we'll start working together. And that'll be the absolute fastest way that you can get results. And this little problem of not getting a text back, you'll be laughing at having that problem of like, why was I so worried about getting a text back? Now I'm having to worry about how to text all these girls that I'm meeting. Because a lot of guys, if they put in the work, I have guys who are like, well, now I'm actually meeting so many girls, now I'm more worried about, finding the right girl for me, or I want to up my quality, or I want to, get 2 girlfriends or 3 girlfriends. If you're willing to put in the work, this is all possible. It's just a question of how hard you want to work and how ambitious your goals are. But we'll go over that in the 10-minute call and find out how to make that tailor-made suit just for you. So check those out in the description, Meet Girls Everywhere, and also one-on-one coaching with me. And we're gonna fix this problem of you not getting texts back, and hopefully you're gonna have much bigger problems in the future because you'll be a lot better with your dating life. Hector Castillo, girlschase.com. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon. Ciao.